Take a shower.
All right, Mary, we're good to go.
Okay. Let's get into this. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of 2024 meeting dates was published in the Hunterdon Review on December 27th, 2023, and the Hunterdon Democrat on December 28th, 2023, and posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall. Action may now be taken. Please join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Doyle. Present. Barry.
Here.
Graham. Here. Matos.
Here.
Noel. Here. Silvestri. Here. And Lee.
Here. Motion to dispense with the reading of the February 8th, 2024 regular minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Sorry, who was my move?
I think Steve was Councilman
Okay. All right, Doyle.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Matos.
Yes.
Silvestri.
Yes.
And Noel. Yes.
Motion to approve the February 8th, 2024 regular minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle.
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Graham.
Yes.
Matos.
Yes.
Silvestri.
Yes.
And Noel. Yes.
Before we get into the public comments, I just have a brief comment myself. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We always appreciate the engagement of our residents. As a large majority are here, most likely due to the recent property tax assessment cards that we all received, I'd like to address a couple points. We learned earlier this week from the County Tax Board that all homes in Highbridge were brought to current market value. We are in need of additional clarification on what this means with respect to the 5-year rolling assessment plan we've been in, as well as the need to hire a separate inspector and reassessor at this time. Speaking on behalf of the governing body, we want to be respectful of all your concerns. However, none of us have the authority or control over the assessment process. The tax assessor reports to the County Tax Board. As the Highbridge assessor recently retired, the proper course of action going forward for anyone requesting additional assistance on their assessments is to reach out directly to the County Tax Board. For those of us watching online or anyone in the audience, if you want to write this down, it's 908-788-1171. I encourage everyone to reach out and make your own determination on whether an appeal is warranted. The Finance Committee is currently in the beginning of putting together the municipal budget. We expect to introduce the budget at the first April meeting with a public hearing date the second meeting of that month. All are encouraged to attend. With that, on to public comments. It is the policy of the Borough Council that all public comments and on issues shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments may be made on any subject pertaining to borough issues. Comments pertaining to public hearings should be saved for that section of the agenda. Each person may speak once during a public comment section. No debating between residents. Comments should be addressed to mayor and council at the public microphone.
Good.
I'll come up. I'll be the loudmouth. I'm sure everybody knows me.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
I will. Rich Raffello from 58 Church Street.
Thank you, sir.
I've been living here in town for 8 years now. I've been pretty public and loud about the tax rate in this small town forever. It's out of control and reckless. In 2022, I was assessed at $205,000. 2023, I jumped to $307,000. Finally, 2024 to $451,000, a staggering 120% increase in 2 years. Highbridge says it's the county says it's Highbridge. Stop passing the blame. Our town should be ashamed of these tax rates. There's no incentive to fix your home for fear of being taxed more. I remember 7 years ago standing up here in front of council and mayor, not this council and mayor, but another council, and told by a council member, if you don't like it, you can leave. Oh, really? In my eyes, that is unprofessional and not how you treat the community members. I believe that we could lower the tax rate to 2.5%. We should be working together to consolidate as much as we can, and I urge each and every one of you to pick up the book, I've got it right here, A Tale of Two Tigers, about the famous Princeton merger in 2011. Use this as a roadmap for the future. Unincorporate, and let's start this merger with a neighboring town today.
Very good. Thank you.
name is Christian Rates. I was at 21 Watergate Drive. This is about taxes. Tony Porto is the tax administrator of Hunterdon County. On September 27th, 2023, presumably after the inspections in Highbridge were complete, he sent a letter to the borough regarding the substantial increase in refused interior inspections of properties, and that this is not good news for Highbridge, the municipal government, nor the residents of Highbridge. This is not even a veiled threat, it's a threat. He further stated the failure to collect this vital information will reduce the quality of the reassessment program and ultimately lead to inequitable assessments. He continued, without an interior inspection, the tax assessor is responsible for estimating the property's value according to its highest and best use. He concluded, additionally, if a property owner refuses inspection, their tax appeal may be dismissed for failure to allow the interior inspection under the rules of discovery. If refusal inspection was so rampant in Highbridge, why didn't our tax assessor report this earlier to Tony Porto? Why did she wait until the end of the inspection calendar? I ask, how many homes were refused entry? Was it 5? Was it 50? And what constitutes refused entry? Over 1/3 of the previous year, how many refusals were done in the previous year? It's apparent that, to me, and I think other Highbridge residents, that the inflated assessments were done in retaliation for the refusal of a mere few home inspections. A basis blanket increase was given to a significant number of residents for no factual reason, and these raises are unprincipled and unfair. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Jeff Shepard. I live at 14 Wharton Way. I've lived in the community for about 15 years now, and what I've seen every year that the taxes come out is what I call the tax dance shuffle, where the council says that it's the school board's fault, school board says it's the county's fault, and everybody likes to point their fingers every other way and says it's not their job. But nothing happens. Every year our taxes go up higher. Right now I figure over 20 years I'll be paying almost $300,000 in taxes, and soon I'll be on a fixed income, and that's a lot of money to go off and pay in taxes. I've tried the assessment route and it doesn't work. You get nice compliments about the presentation, but it just won't work because our houses are at market value, and that's what they're going to do. I think the only solution that we can come up with are two things. One, we either have to look at slashing budgets, which is going to make everybody unhappy. Nobody wants to see their wages reduced, nobody wants to see their pensions cut, and the only other way I can see is that we have to look at what other places do, and that's to merge together and merge services together. We've got a lot of schools, we've got 2 towns within a 10-mile radius of us, and there's a lot that can be merged together. Now that's going to affect some people, and that won't be nice. And I think what your guys' job has to be is that you as our representatives have to look at coming up with a plan that we can look at and say, how are we going to save money for our residents? And focusing on that, not saying go off and get reassessed, go off and talk to the school board, but you guys should be committed to seeing how you can come and fight for us and get our taxes reduced. I've lived in 10 other states in my life, and I've never seen such high taxes. And I know New Jersey is a high tax state, but even among high tax states, we're in the high part of the high tax state. And I think you guys need to take that on and use that as a directive to come back to us and say, these are some plans we have of what we can do and how we can start reducing taxes. I mean, and not to criticize, but it's a little rich that tonight, along with what we're doing here, one of the first things on the agenda is seeing how can we raise our budgets a little bit more, rather than looking at this seriously and start reducing things. So that's what I have to say. I hope you'll take this on board and actually do something for us, rather than just hear us complain every year. Thank you.
My name is Jimmy Search of 19 Krieger. I spoke last meeting. I was, talking about the concerns of property taxes. I got my property tax card back from our assessor, whom, after she initially visited my house, my wife wasn't comfortable, and it wasn't even her. It was whatever her assistant, whatever title you want to give him. He stopped by the house. She mentioned she wasn't comfortable with a stranger in the house, so we got the letter. I understood the importance. I invited them into my home. I walked him through my home. I updated him on the fact that I no longer have 2 kitchens in my house. It was the previous homeowner, it was a handicap suite for an in-law, and I get my tax card, and it's the exact same thing. And not only that, my taxes went up at the end of '23. They said they assessed me at $343. The beginning in February, after I let them in my house, after I show them I don't have a second kitchen, they're up at $412. Almost $200,000 in a 6-month period. No explanation. And then last week, we all hear that she's resigned. And then we post the minutes finally this week, only to find out that she's retired. We let this woman retire honorably. I email her about the adjustment for my tax card that's necessary. No response. I give her 48 hours. No response. I email Tony Porto, and he says, well, we hope to hire somebody by April 1st. Well, how do I challenge this, Tony? Well, you have to challenge your assessment. We don't challenge taxes. Well, how do I challenge an assessment when my tax card is wrong? There's no assessor to come into my house to look at this. As I mentioned last time, this was my first town meeting, and somebody brought to the point, elections have consequences. And a small town gives us the opportunity to show our children what the world should be. We can't control what goes in Washington. We can't control what goes on in Trenton. But we have the opportunity to work together as one and come up with a solution. The importance of hiring the next assessor is beyond important. Everybody here tonight is here for tax assessments. Last meeting was about volunteerism. You guys handled that the way you handled it. Election season's coming up. Mr. Silvestri, Mr. Graham, I know you guys are on the ticket. There's got to be olive branches. I would recommend opening up those volunteers that we let go, putting them back on their committees. That's a step in the right direction. In regards to these assessments, you know, we need to start hearing from you guys what you're doing to fight for us. I understand it doesn't come from you guys. I understand that. But what I don't understand is, how do we just get a sheet of paper saying these are the rules? We are simple people. We don't have lawyers to hide behind. We don't have police officers to protect us at every second of every day. This is a small town. We are all residents and we need to work together. That's all I got to say.
I do want to make the distinction that the assessments are not the taxes. I get it at the end.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Well,
I'll raise my
no,
hand and
I
admit that.
appreciate your comment. I just
But I'm
want
also a
to,
clueless resident that's asking for guidance, and if we have a
listen,
class, I'd be
what
willing to
I've
take.
learned over the last 3 years is I am also a clueless resident that cannot get to the bottom of this tax assessment. So again, for clarity, I want to say that your assessment card that you received just this past February does not equate to what your tax bill is going to be.
I
Because
understand that,
okay.
but I also am not going to fall for the game that the rate dropped, and we're all heroes for dropping the rate. It didn't change.
Didn't say that at all.
I understand,
I'm saying
I
we're
understand.
working on the rate.
I
That's all.
understand.
That's it. Anybody else?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I can't keep my mouth shut here. Well, I'm Dave Hafner, 3 Mary Jo Crest. So for me, it's all about the money, right? It's all about the Benjamins. I don't give a crap what the assessment is or what the tax rate is. My taxes are going up based on the formula, 50% in 6 months. I got a reassessment, or whatever it was here back in July, I think, of last year. Taxes went up $2,000 a year. I'm already paying 12 grand a year. Now, based on the formulas, I'm going to 18,000 a year for 1/3 of an acre and a 2,200 square foot home. That's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I'm probably going to move if that's what happens. And I don't want to. I love High Bridge. We've been here 22 years. My 2 youngest kids came up through the high school, or the elementary school, grade school, and the high school, right? Or the regional high school. And they did great. But my God, something's got to happen here. This is nuts. Thank you.
Lauren Hamlin, 26 Highland Avenue. I love High Bridge. I love our incredible history that continues to live on through the work of our volunteers on the historical committee. I love the events that we have, or used to have, like the Pooch Parade, movies, and concerts in the park, and so much more. I love the community we have here, where neighbors help each other and residents volunteer to make our community better without a second thought, or used to. I love the merging of families that have lived here for generations, with the newcomers calling High Bridge home for the first time, allowing us to grow as a community while maintaining a sense of stability. It was these amazing features that have helped me and so many others to reconcile some of our challenges, knowing that yes, my property taxes were higher than I'd like, but look at all it comes with. But can we say that's still the case? This borough that we love so much feels broken and divided. There's a lack of trust in our local government. So many of the big issues that have come about in the last few years, Chapter 48, with or without cause, increasing property taxes, have brought residents out in droves to council meetings to share their concerns, questions, and frustrations, only to have decisions made hastily, and frankly, it feels as if those decisions have already been made before hearing and without regard for any public comments. While I understand that your job is not easy, and I give you all immense credit and gratitude for your time and work, and knowing that you simply cannot please everyone, your role as our council and mayor are to represent the best interests of the borough, and rather than hear them out and truly take in what's being said, even if it doesn't ultimately change your mind, you choose to listen with closed ears. If you don't have the trust and respect of your residents, do you really feel you're representing them to the best of your ability? Do you even want to be up there anymore? It doesn't feel like it. Or maybe you feel like because you've been moving forward in one direction that you can't change your mind. To me, the sign of a good leader is one that can, one that will hear opinions from others, even others you may not always agree with, and ultimately do the right thing. It's no secret that there is an issue with our property taxes in town, one that has brought so many here today. While there are some differing opinions about what the issue is, a fabulous opportunity to listen to the residents, brainstorm some possible solutions, and get us back on track. I'd like to request council hold a public meeting with the attendance of the county tax administrator to help understand the process of property tax assessment and ask questions. According to the New Jersey Property Taxpayers Bill of Rights, we have the right to receive information and assistance we need to understand and meet our property tax responsibilities. And between our previous tax assessor's failings and the limited information given by mayor and council, we have been denied that right. I know there will be a lot of frustration and emotion shared today from the public, and I'm sure it's very difficult to sit up there each month facing us and hearing our plights, but I implore you to truly listen. Listen to the emotion behind the words. We need you, our leaders, to bring us together, represent our best interests, and get us back to the Highbridge Bill I love so much. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Chris Carey, 12 Manning Court. My wife and I moved here in July of 2022 with our two sons who are now 2 and 4. We moved here because we loved our new home and the small town community that a lot of the citizens have mentioned. We thought we had budgeted to account for any reasonable raises in taxes in addition to childcare and other typical needs of families. In just less than 2 years of ownership, our assessment has risen over $134,000, causing our taxes to balloon from $15,000 in our first year here to $18,405 this year to God knows what's coming in this coming year. I'm coming to you with a brief recap in numbers, and my focus was on the number 1. Since the most recent election, well, prior to that, there was one town newsletter, communication, nothing since then. One member of the town government, mayor and council, that responded to an email that I sent on February 16th at 1:15. Thank you for that person for giving me a call and actually being transparent. One attempt at an in-person house assessment, like another citizen had mentioned, was done while I had waiting for my wife to get home with 2 screaming kids in the background calling for dinner and my dog barking like a crazy lunatic because he doesn't like strangers. And turned away because I didn't realize somebody was coming. When I called the tax assessor, I was told, oh, it was posted on the town website. I asked, and my next one was one failed attempt to reschedule because I was told the assessor was doing it on his full-time schedule. Not like any of us have full-time schedules as well. One house, at least, owned by somebody in this room that has reduced in assessed value as everyone else is either stable or drastically increasing. And we are also number 1 in the assessment increase in the county. Mrs. Mayor, council, I implore you, I'm sure we all implore you to be transparent. For the people who elect you into office, who may continue to elect you into office, whose money you are spending, and for your neighbors. This is a small town. Your neighbors, who many of us are starting to be pushed to the risk of, and the brink of having to sell and move out of the community that we love. Listen, I've been here for 2 years. There's people who've been here for 15, 20 years. But in 2 years, I've loved this community. I can't even imagine how other people feel. I'm just asking, my wife and I we're distraught when we saw this because we're worried about paying for 2 kids in childcare. My kid's in the public school, but I have to pay for before care and after care. I got a kid in a private daycare because we both work full-time jobs. We even got promoted when we first got here thinking, oh man, that's gonna give us the cushion. Now we're being pushed to the brink. We need your help. You're the ones that can advocate for us. The assessment's not gonna work. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Sally from Solitude. I got my little card also from the county, and I live up in Solitude Village in an old trailer. It was built in 1978, and my place was assessed $58,000 more than it was before. But you know what? I'm gonna find a way, because I love it here and I'm gonna stay. And I've never had any kids in the school system, but I've been paying those too. Speaking of which, Natalie, you're the bridge between us and the school, right? Mm-hmm. In the NewJersey.com today, they did an article on Hunterdon County superintendent's salaries, and Highbridge didn't have any information in there. And they're like one of 2 towns who didn't. But I'm curious if you can find out what the salary is of our Highbridge school superintendent. Sure. Speaking of schools and taxes in the same mouthful, the amount of the taxes that we pay are less from, ruled by the council, but more by the schools. I believe the school taxes, aren't they like 65-ish% of what we pay in our property taxes? Ish?
Ish.
Ish. School taxes are what are doing it. And it's not just Highbridge that's dealing with, the raises in taxes, it's the whole state. And it hurts my heart to hear, I understand anger and angst, about having to figure out a way. I'm a senior citizen on Social Security. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do the doing. So, I just pray that you all can, take some deep breaths and figure out a way to do the doing, because this little borough is kind of like I'm a poet and a writer, and I was thinking about the word burrow, and a fox lives in a burrow. Every day, a fox wakes up and sticks his head out and looks out there and saying, I'm gonna find a way. And we're humans. If a fox can stick his head out of the burrow every morning and figure out, I'm gonna find a way, we as people can figure out ways to find a way. We can help each other, but to blame these folks, is unfair. It's not their fault, at all. So if you look to the schools and try to, find out, Natalie, if you can, what our superintendent makes. And then we can compare that to what all the other towns who did report, make. And maybe there's something we can suggest in a change for that. It's just a little bit, but every little bit counts. And I just got to say too that this mayor and this council have created all the new roads and all the new infrastructure that we have done. So I'm just saying.
Sorry.
We got a lot of good going on here. So.
Well, I just want to add one quick thing, and then I want to get comments from the other members of council, but what's important to keep in mind is everyone in here has a totally different financial situation. But maybe we all have a trusted financial person that we can talk to, whether it's your accountant, your spouse, your financial advisor, your attorney. I mean, there's software programs available, but every one of us has a different situation. So we can't all group ourselves. There are senior citizens, I won't even get into it. We're all different. And that's why I encourage you to take your own situation and, try to figure out what's going to work from you. And before we move on, I just want to hear from other council, because I know everyone's tired of me. Let's start at this end and go on.
Yeah, so this gentleman on the end here, when you were talking about combining services and those things, I work as the DPW liaison and engineering liaison. We have joined as many co-ops as we can to find the best prices for materials and equipment when we're doing that. We've reached out to other towns to repair our trucks instead of going to, a town that would have a truck service, instead of going to the dealership to have maintenance and things done on our vehicles. When we bid on water mains now, the last couple, we actually asked for 2 bids, one for ductile iron pipe, or if the plastic HDPE pipe would be appropriate to reduce cost in the construction when we're replacing water mains. Recently, we found a report from 1998 about water infiltration into our sewer. We didn't even know that somebody had done this, but we've gotten that report. We found areas where there is infiltration, so we're going to start working on reducing the infiltration of water that's being sent down to Clinton to be recycled. We want to get our water usage and our sewer flow to be as close as possible, and that would reduce the cost of your tax bill on sewer charges. So unfortunately, we cannot find the golden arrow that's going to save you $1 million tomorrow, but Brandon and I in the engineering department, we look any way we can save something moving forward. So it is a concern of ours as well as yours, but I want you to know that we are looking at these options to just reduce wherever we can. And I know it's a penny here and $1 here and $10 here, but if we can get enough of it, hopefully that's $10,000 added up over a year in various ways. So I appreciate you bringing that up, and I hopefully you feel better. Of course you don't, but I want to just let you know that we are working to get to those points for everyone,
Any comments on the tax assessment process?
My understanding of the tax assessment process is that there's a form back here, and there's one line in it that and it's about the law and the rule and what council and mayor can say about this, and unfortunately, that's what I'm gonna go by tonight. I feel what you feel, I understand, I feel the same way you feel about the process, but it says here, paramount importance that the integrity of this office, tax assessor's office, by no way be diluted by local interference. So anything I say positively or negatively about the process is considered influencing a tax assessor. And by reading that, it just tells me that publicly or ever, I really can't talk about that. And that's not my rule, that's the law from New Jersey. I know that's vague and not popular, but that's what it says here.
Who decides the tax rate?
I want to say something. Is that part of?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You'll have another chance.
Who decides the tax rate?
So
We're not.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't say anything.
Just so you understand, there's a reason why when people get up, they have to give their name because it's being recorded. And so
No, I
there's a
understand, all
normal
right.
process.
No, that's all right.
So, yeah.
I'm good.
Natalie, let's get your comments.
Okay, so I am the council liaison to the Board of Education this year. So I have been in communication with the board president of the Board of Education and helping them prepare a letter that they're going to email out to all of you to reach out to our state representatives to help with their budget so they don't get as much of a cut as they did last year. So I personally have been in touch with our state assembly representative to communicate this to them. The state hasn't started working on that budget just yet, but I will be reporting each month, second meeting of the month. We all give reports, so I'll bring more detail to that to everyone. As far as the assessments, to what Ms. Hamlin had mentioned about having some type of a communication or a town hall from the county would be great if the county could do that. Again, to what Councilman Silvestri said, that would probably have to come out of them and not us, but if there's any way we can communicate that to them, that we definitely will. And that's what I have to say.
Yeah, I just, I understand that this is an emotional issue. I wish we had more control over this, but we simply don't. Everybody should know that we work hard every day trying to cut spending and reduce spending, but we're also doing that while we're trying to pave roads and fill potholes and
get grants
and mow the fields and fix the ball fields, and there's a lot going on. So it's a difficult situation. I'm losing sleep every night over trying to figure out what we can do and where we can do it. It's difficult. As far as obviously, as Steve said, we really can't comment on the assessment process. We'll be looking at a new assessor. Maybe we can use some of your comments that you've made here tonight to try to help us in that search for a new assessor.
I mean, I appreciate the frustration. We are not operating in a bubble. Everyone here is in your boat. We are assessed higher. Everyone, we are not immune to that power. I appreciate that. The rec committee that I run, we don't cost this town anything, what we do. And we were able to pull off a handful of events last year that were extremely exciting and good for the town of Highbridge. But there is a limitation as to what we have power over, which is frustrating. Sometimes, Mayor Lee said that we're learning as we go. I think I have power to do a thing and I don't. I'm not name dropping, but I talked to Tammy Murphy today and I was like, what can we do? I have to say she was frustrated just like me. And this is the wife of the governor who's running for a Senate seat. And she is in the same boat. She knows New Jersey is expensive. She knows it's high. It is the highest. And somebody said it very well. It's the penthouse of taxes. That's what New Jersey is. I appreciate that. It is frustrating. I promise you, everyone at this council is really trying to move in that direction. Not only what's best for Highbridge, but what's best for us and you. I know when we get to the end here, there's not much left to say.
I was gonna say, I don't know that I can
I just think it's
contribute much
important
more.
for everyone to hear from all of us.
Yeah, I don't know that I can contribute much more than what's already been said. I appreciate my fellow council members' time, just like all of you, and all of you coming out and voicing your concerns. It's important for us to hear it. That's it. I appreciate you all coming out.
And I don't want to double dip, but I encourage a handful of people out there to come tonight. I want to hear what you have to say, all right? You need to be on the record. That's absolutely true. It's cathartic, but it's important.
Yeah, because we don't have all the answers or the solutions, right? You have the answers, you have the solutions. I'm just like you, I'm a resident, I've been here 35 years, and the value of my house and the assessment has gone up. I'm like, wow, I don't even understand it. So here I am, on a council, in a position, working right now diligently on the budget, trying to figure out where can we shave this, where can we shave that? Because I heard earlier from the audience, listen, you guys are gonna play with the rate and this and that's, voodoo math, well, that's my word. But the goal is to see what can we do and still provide services to the town. The assessment is one thing, but being able to run our town and provide what we need to do for the residents is very important. And since being on council, there's a term I continually hear, and that's kicking the can down the road. Well, since I've been on council, in the research I've done, I was like, wow, the can has been kicked down and now the roosters are coming home to roost. Right? We're trying to figure out what do we do with this and how do we provide that infrastructure. So grants, critical for us, right? We got what from Swicker last year, $4 million for infrastructure, which we know we need to do so much with that money for this town. And then roads. Can we get roads paved that people aren't losing their front ends of their cars? They're not losing their tires when they pull out of their driveway. Everybody's looking at all of those things.
Any comments on assessments?
Yeah, they go up.
Mayor Lee, if you would, just from the administrative standpoint, I know people have asked, what we're doing. Just so you know, we're in a great transition period right now between, yes, our tax assessor is retiring. We cannot appoint somebody until the 1st of April. That is correct. So we are in an active search. We are, Mayor and Council I constantly talk to them about these topics. We are in an active search for an annual reassessment officer. We are actively looking for that. We are backfilling positions. We're actively searching for all of our subcode officials because our construction official who does everything is retiring. So we have a lot of open positions that we are trying to fill. I specifically got some handouts back there. Adam helped with those as well. So I take the line of authority item. I specifically requested something from the county. So it'll give you an understanding of what their authority is in the assessment process and what the different variations of what the county oversees and what the state oversees. We even had the state taxation reach out to us. They understand that we're going to be reappointing or having a new appointment for an assessor. and making sure that we do it properly. You know, there's mid-year issues with the way that the appointment has to be and very specific the way it has to be done. They're helping to guide us on that. I've asked Tony Porto to help us as well. He's there to answer your questions. I have responded to some residents when they've reached out. So if you do, please reach out to me. Happy to give you contact information to reach out to him. He will answer your questions as best they can with the information they have. If there's any inspections that need to be done, they are going to hold those for us until our new assessor comes on. And he'll work with us then, and they'll transition them in. So we have been trying to help you. I know it may not be the best answers all the time that you want to hear, but we have been working the best we can. And, you know, the Borough Hall, on behalf of the Borough Hall staff, I say that, you know, we appreciate your patience with us, but we have been trying to work the best we can and understanding that they are in a difficult position, but they are, you know, limited based on, if you read that document, it outlines what they are limited on what they can do in that process and what the county oversees. It's actually overseen and run by the county, the county tax board as well, which they are overseen by taxation. So that's why we do direct you to go down there when it is related to the assessment. They oversee that process. So, you know, please take those handouts that we brought, and if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out.
Let's move on.
I have a question. There may be others possible.
You'll have a second chance at.
Yeah, we're
public
gonna have
comment.
a second set of public.
That was my question.
Oh, okay.
That was my question.
But you can't ask it now. Ask it later when they start asking. Okay.
I don't think we closed public comments.
So.
We're still on public.
Unless we're still open. Mayor, I don't think that it was closed, and I think that some people were raising their hands.
Okay,
when you
that's
consider
fine, that's
things.
fine.
Yeah.
Come on up.
My name is Rudy Alvarez, 37 Main Street. I've been listening to everybody's words. I agree with some of these people 100%. Her nice words, she was talking about the word burrow. It's more like burying your heads in the sand and not like realizing that the math doesn't work, guys. They're not going to tell you this, but the math doesn't work. The town doesn't work. There's not enough people, residents, to pay for all the services we have. It's simple as that. It's not Michelle's fault. It's not Steve's fault. We got our own water system. We got a police department. We got 2 schools. Most towns our size don't have all those things. But I don't care. Let's say Steve saved $10,000. $10,000. My taxes went up more than that this year. What's that gonna do? It's not gonna do anything. You're not gonna cut your way out of this. It's about talking about financial advisor. Look for your grave diggers. They're burying us, people. They're burying us. You guys are all here, but you can't do anything. The school, 65%. Go to the school board. The taxes are bad. Go to the tax guy in the county. What are you all here for then? What do we need all you for? Let's get rid of everybody. You know, I don't get why are we even a town? We can't afford these things. It's obvious. You can't sleep at night, neither can I. I'm telling you, man, like fucking taxes are out of control, you know, and there's nothing you can do. And what's Lanny gonna do? Save money on books? What's Byron gonna do? One less police car? That's not enough. None of it's enough. We're just burying ourselves year after year after year. And there's other townships. My ex-wife lives in a town, it's called West Belmar. You may have never heard of it. You know why? Because it's part of Wall Township. But they still have their own elementary school, but they share their police, they share their high school, their middle school with Wall Township. Her tax rate is 1.9. 1.9. Why? Because they share, towns like this, the state has been punishing towns like ours for like 15 years, 20 years. They've been telling us every year, the state, consolidate, consolidate, consolidate. They want us to write more letters to beg for more money. Beg. Oh, go beg the state for more crumbs. So then we can cut back here and crappy roads and school falling apart. It's not going to get fixed that way. I don't care what anyone, and they all know it. That's why you can't sleep at night, because there is no math that makes sense. Because there's nothing you're going to cut your way out of. It's that simple. So, I mean, the truth is, everyone's afraid to say it. Because they're afraid to say it, because nobody wants to hear it. But consolidation is the only way out of this. It's the only way. There's no other way. We're going to have, even if they freeze us at what? At the tremendous taxes we have now? Like, we have already the highest tax. The state average is 1.9. We are double that. So the state average is the highest in the country. So we are double the highest in the country. So what are you going to do? Cut back and do what? Crap your roads and still pay high taxes? What do we have? The water's brown one day, the next day the water smells like bleach. There's potholes. What are you going to do? What you think they're going to fix all that? And they're burying everybody. They're burying. My assessment is way over assessed. But like, who do you go to? Go fight with the county? That's just passing the buck. That's the system set up that way. You understand? Like, they can't do anything. The school is doing this, the county's doing that, and you're just running around circles chasing your tail, and your taxes are gonna go up every year. And that's it, I have nothing to say.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael. I'm in Solitude Village.
Last name?
Kachik. I just moved here in the end of September. We made no upgrades to our home. I received my assessment and it was increased by $100,000. No one ever showed up to look at my house or my property. My question is how does that work? How can you assess something that we've never seen without even looking at it, and who do we hold accountable for that? Previously mentioned by the other gentleman that was up here, when elections do come, I think I speak for everybody in this room, and I think that it will be the guarantee by everybody from this room that we all will get together and vote out those who do not fight for us. It's ridiculous that a small town like ours is being taxed to death as if it was a bigger township. I originally come from Woodbridge Township, which has over 9 towns in it, and the taxes aren't anywhere near the amount that we're paying here, and there's way less potholes in all 9 towns compared to our little town. I would like to request that you all please think long and hard about how we can all work together as a community. You guys support us as a community. As a community, we support you guys. And I think that if we're all willing to work together, but it has to start here and tonight with open communication, whether it's audits, whether it's posting up every single piece of financial paperwork there is, something that gives us, the people of the town, the clarity that we need to see that things are actually going to be moving in the right direction. I believe I speak for everybody. You guys will have our full support next election term. But if we can't all work together to figure out a situation, I'm sorry to say this, but you got one person right here that won't be voting back in. I thank you all for your time. God bless. I hope that we could all kind of fix this situation together. I know you guys say there's nothing that you can do, but you're all in a position of power higher than we are as a town. But I will end it with this. There is power in numbers, and we have a voice, we have power, and we will use it. Thank you so much.
Good evening. Accept Councilman Silvestri's excuse that you cannot advocate for us. That is exactly what you have been elected to do. It may be misunderstood. I can see he's already forming his rebuttal, but that was the impression that I got. And Ms. Mayor, I am extremely insulted by your recommendation that we see our financial advisor. My financial plan was to move to Highbridge. I'm originally from Union County. I do not want to pay Union County taxes. That's why I'm here. It's a beautiful town. Love that part of it, but it's because of the taxes that I moved here, or the home's values and everything, okay? I could live in Cranford, or Westfield, or Chatham, or Summit, and pay the same amount of taxes. And I would have a lot less commute, and I'd spend a lot more time with my family. I think that it is absolutely insulting for you to say to us that we have to see a financial planner in order to accommodate our life.
There are people that you obviously trust in your life to talk to about your individual finances, more so than any one of us, or potentially any.
My individual financial plan was to move out here.
But my point was, I just don't want my words to get twisted, because I really am trying to advocate for you, and I'm saying, I'm not sitting down with you and talking about your individual financial situation with your house or your assessment. The county will only go so far. We can only go so far. Surely you have people that you can talk to that say, hey, does this make sense? Is there something else I can be doing?
It doesn't make sense. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody. It doesn't make sense at all.
Agreed. And we are here to try to help. That's why we're all sitting here.
Taxation on representation.
We are in the same boat. And anytime you would like, here, I brought some cards. Anytime you would like to reach out and sit down, I'd love to do it.
Thank you.
Ron Campbell, I live at 12 Wharton Way. I work in finance every day, and I'm not gonna solve everybody's problem here, but managing your finances to be able to pay a higher tax isn't the solution. The way I look at it, my base that I'm getting taxed on went up 27%. So my tax rate's 4%. So my tax rate, if it went down 27%, everybody'd have the same amount of money to spend. So I'm trying to figure out where the extra 27% is gonna go, because it's gonna be out of my pocket and someone else's pocket to spend, and I can't see where anybody these days is letting a budget go up 27%.
Well, we're
So,
introducing
that's
the
what I'm trying to
budget
understand.
in April, and I'm anticipating an extremely dynamic conversation about what those numbers are. And I don't want to get anyone's hopes up, but if we're looking at the same figures that we were from last year, the rate is most likely going to go down. We're not, I mean, for those of us that have been in the conversation so far, we're not increasing spending. We got $4 million in the bank to work on infrastructure. We've been, as Steve pointed out, repairing roads. There's good things coming for Highbridge. We got a brand new building that's being built on the end of Main Street in the near term, going to add new revenue coming into town. So Highbridge really has a revenue problem that we were hyper-focused on. We've introduced some ideas, they didn't all get approved. That's fine, that's where the people have the voice, but everyone up here is truly, truly advocating for you, and we're all in the same boat.
I understand that, and I'm trying to clarify the financial thing the way I see it. It's about, like you said, the spending should go down because more money should come in, so the rate should go down so that our assessment gives you the right amount of money to do what you need to do.
Correct.
And I just wanted to clarify that, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Can I have another shot? I didn't take my 3 minutes before.
I think it's only one.
Yeah.
Can you wait until the
Unfortunately, you have to
second
wait
round?
till the second round. The second round, so you can speak again.
Hello, Vince Schweikert, 4 Taylor Street. I was up here last year. My taxes went up, my assessment went up $92,000. I saw a $3,000 increase. That was a 36% increase on my assessment, but the overall average of the town was 10%. I figure this year it's around 26%. I'd asked some questions about the golf course. I'd like some clarity on the golf course revenue. I know the money was spent last year in the budget. If we can get that in the budget presentation, I'd really appreciate it.
Got it.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I always get nervous coming up here. I don't know why, I just can't do it. I'm Isabel Bazile. I'm in the big mega mansion on the bottom of Taylor Street. My
Brandon
tax,
Road.
yeah,
Brandon Road.
the flooding. I went up 100,000, so, which is astronomical. I know there's a lot of people that went up to 100,000 and more. I think there was a few other that said that they were way over. It was just within, it almost seemed like in a year that it went up. I didn't understand why. I did speak with Anne Marie, and she got all my pictures and everything. Of course, other people are saying they haven't done any increases. I've been here for 30 years. If you walk in my house, there's all holes in the walls, there's nothing. I even right now have a big, and I did put it on 2.0, that I have a big, what do you call that? Bathtub that's falling through my floor in my bathroom. So I need somebody to get that out, but that's how my whole house is. It's from the 1800s. It's all, I know, I've been asking around for somebody to help me get that out.
You're asking, how do you get it out of there? I remember.
Yeah, it's going through my floor, it's buckling, and I'm scared to death, but that's how my whole house is. I really haven't done anything, but I know other people are in the same situation. My question is, who actually decides on the tax increase? Who is it that does it? I Googled it, so you decide on what the tax rate is?
What we spend.
Yeah, well, the process is actually between the administrator and the mayor, and then we present it to a committee, and then we do a public hearing and.
Yeah, because now I'm seeing property taxes are generally raised through 3 different government agencies. You have your town government, your county government, you also have public school system.
We're just only
It's just
municipal.
Oh, so
That's
we
it.
don't do any of that other? Wow. So it's just Us.
We control less than 25%.
Wow. See, and I thought differently, and that's why I was thinking, like, why is everybody in the whole town raised? Pretty much. There were a couple that went down. Like, what happened to cause it all of a sudden?
We've been in a 5-year reassessment program, which has been challenging. Last year was, I would say, fever pitch of challenging, not just for us, but for our residents. And, we always direct people to the county, as is the process. The county obviously heard from people, and I believe, because I'm not in these conversations, but it appears, based on a conversation Brett had with Tony Porto, that everyone was just brought up to 100% of
Yeah, because it shocked everybody. I mean, to get this many people shocked, that's pretty bad. It's bad. I mean, it's hard. Nobody wants to move, but this is what, this is one of the things I think. The people that have been here 30 years,
Sorry,
I've been
Bill.
here.
We gotta keep it to that 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
I went
Sorry.
over 3 minutes
Yeah,
already.
you can come back up, there's another round.
Wait, let me just tell my last
No,
little
I'm
thing.
sorry, I'm sorry.
No.
Can't get everybody, because everybody doesn't wanna do that then, sorry.
But there's 1 minute at the end where you can.
Do I?
Yeah, we'll move right in.
Any other comments?
I was over 3 minutes. I should have spoke quicker.
Hi, Linda Dean from 47 Valley View Road. We have a beautiful golf course and it's all paid off, everything's good, we're supposed to be making money and haven't heard too much on the golf course. I would like to know what's happening with that.
Stay tuned for the budget discussion. Yeah. It's gonna be highlighted for sure.
Well, I hope we get some money from it. It's supposed to lower our taxes.
Well,
For years.
so one thing just to add before we definitely move on this time is going back to the professionals question, because I think Lauren, it was your suggestion to do kind of a town hall. I think that's good. Perhaps we can get the town's #1 real estate agent to chime in on property values, because I think Highbridge is a pretty hot market, and I want to say it's a good thing. I know people are not going to like me saying that, but I think it's important to talk about that portion of the conversation, because we really are on a positive trajectory. Our rate went down last year, or it's going to go down again this year. New apartments coming in, other revenue sources coming in. We can come up with some creative ideas. So let's just keep that conversation going. And I thank you for everyone's comments. 1 more minute towards the end of the meeting, if we can move on, I think. Okay, public hearings. Ordinance 2024-008, appropriations cap ordinance. Motion to open the public hearing.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Do you want to take this? You want me to just, I mean, I think people need to understand this is not, we're not raising taxes to 3.5%. There's a 2% cap, but we have a municipal budgeting accounting method that allows us to cap 1% over the COLA increase, and that's what we're doing. We do it every year. Every town does it every year. It doesn't mean we're using the 1%, but if we don't pass this ordinance before the budget is introduced, we can't do it at all, and we might need it, so it's important to put it in. Anybody else on the council?
Yeah, this is something we do every year, I know.
Yeah,
It's
yes.
just something.
Yeah, I just look at this as just a relief valve, right? for
Yeah.
Emergencies. That's in my mind where it is. I'm still going to courses, so I'm gonna get smarter on this.
Thank you. Public comment, anybody?
I would say,
Can you come
oh, sorry.
Just so you're on there.
Hi, I am Jeff Shepard, 14 Wharton Way. I understand what you're saying about this and being a relief valve and stuff, but I think in light of the people that are here tonight, it would be pretty disingenuous to vote for something like this right now, raising the taxes. It would
Not raising the taxes.
raising the
Just
the
giving
amount
us
that
some
you can.
flexibility in the
Right,
budget.
raising the flexibility. I think it would be disingenuous to do that when we all say that we really want things held where they are and want to see what you guys can do to start lowering things. And it's just my opinion, you know, I mean, it's just kind of being blind to all the voices that you've heard in the room. And, you know, you do what you want to do, but I think it would show some commitment to all the voices you've just heard tonight. Thank you.
Karen Go, 15 Mill Street. I'm gonna piggyback off what that gentleman just said. If all the homes are now at market value, the valuation for our whole town is up, more money will be coming in, tax rate should be going down. You almost assured us a few minutes ago that the tax rate should be going down. So I see no reason to give a raise to the cap to allow you to raise it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Just repeat what they're saying. Oh, sorry, Rudy Alvarez, 37 Main Street. Repeat what they're saying. I can't imagine you need flexibility. You just
We
got
do.
$100,000 from the 3 guys I know. I mean, how much flexibility you need? You need $1 million? You need $2 million? One more, how much did you raise more this year that you need flexibility? Flexibility for what? To just like make it worse? No, no flexibility. Rigidity, that's it. No more. That's it. You got your flexibility. You just jacked us all. 30, 50, 70, 100%. That's the flexibility you got. Done. Flexibility is over.
Sally from Solitude. Flexibility is really good, especially if all of a sudden in front of that fellow's house, there's a water main break that leaves him with no water. You know, we might need that flexibility. You know, rigidity is never any good. Just saying. You know, and, you know, water mains happen and they break. And it could be in front of his house. God only knows. I hope not.
Anybody else? Okay, motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2024-008.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle? Yes. Barry?
No.
Graham?
You want to keep it open?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Matos?
Wait, hold on. We're voting to close the public hearing.
This is to close the public hearing.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. You want to close the public hearing so we can move on to a vote?
I am saying yes.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, I
sorry.
recorded his yes. It's
I'm
on
sorry.
That's all right.
My bad.
It's totally fine.
Silvestri
Yes.
and Noel.
Yes.
Oh, what'd I do?
I'm sorry. Motion to adopt ordinance 2024-008.
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
No.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
No.
Silvestri?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024-009, amending Borough Code, Chapter 33, Local Ethics Board. Motion to open the public hearing.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Okay, Barry, you want to take this one, if you don't mind?
Sure.
The borough has an ordinance that, let's start. The state statute allows the municipality to have a local ethics board. Quite frankly, there was an ordinance on the books that was not in compliance with the state statute for the local ethics board, and we discovered that at the end of last year. And so it hasn't been functional. And so the ordinance now is to just eliminate the local ethics board. And if there's any ethics complaint filed with regard to Highbridge, let the state deal with it. Quite frankly, smaller municipalities tend not to have a local ethics board. And the bigger cities, bigger municipalities tend to have it. And so this is to just eliminate the local ethics board. You still can file an ethics complaint, but it'll be dealt with by the state instead of on a local level. That's all.
Anybody else? Council? Public? Motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2024-009.
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Motion to adopt ordinance 2024-009.
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Written communications.
We have the administrator's report for January.
That was an excellent report, Brett. Excellent. No sense of humor today. On to the consent agenda. Anyone want to take something out?
97?
Yes.
Mine's not numbered.
I guess we'll move 99.
So we have 97 and 99.
Okay, motion to,
Just to be clear,
I'm sorry.
97 and 99?
yes. Motion to approve consent agenda resolution 092 through, sorry, I have two different copies here, 096 and 098 and 100.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Steve?
So I'm just pulling out 97 because we could all use a little bit of news here. So
Thank
for the
you.
last year and a half, or 2 years, we've been working really hard to try to get a new basketball court in the park and do some upgrades there. This grant popped up. Our engineers signaled it out for us to look at, and this grant would put a significant amount of money towards the park and hopefully improve the basketball court in the next year or so if we get approved on it. So those are some of the things that we're working on. So hopefully we get this grant, we can do some improvements to our park. That's what I really want to convey.
Okay, thank you. Kelly?
They're just, I wanted council to be able to.
Oh, well, sorry.
Oh, oops, sorry.
No, we'll talk about both of them first and then vote on the last two? or-
You can talk about both of them.
Yeah,
first.
okay.
I wanted to motion to actually have this one tabled to the next council meeting on the 14th.
We can't hear you, can you speak a little
Oh,
louder?
sure, I just am requesting to table this one, this ordinance, or this resolution, sorry, till the next council meeting, just for council and the public to get further information regarding this grant.
So there would have to be separate motions then.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
would be a motion to approve and the other would be a motion to table.
Got it. All right, motion to approve resolution 097-2024.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay. Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Okay, motion to table resolution 099-2024.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Okay. On to legal issues.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Approval of the bill list.
We have $947,221.92.
Motion to approve the bill list.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Okay, on to the second round of public comments. We have 1 minute per person.
Dave Hafner, 3 Mary Jo Crest. Just have a couple of, I need some clarification here because I'm stupid, I guess. I don't understand this whole process, all right? So the taxes we've talked about, 25%, right, High Bridge, or you guys control 25% of the tax rate, overall tax rate? Is that right? So even if we lower that, if you guys fight hard for us and you lower that somewhat, we're still stuck with the assessments that we have and the other 3 tax rates that add to the overall number?
Two totally separate. Assessments are not taxes. Okay, your assessment is your property taxes. The taxes that we're going to discuss in April with our budget is how you're going to determine what your bill is going to be. And actually, you said something earlier that struck. So the tax bill that you just got for January through June is 2023 rates. Okay, the tax bill that I'm sure we're all looking forward to in July is 2024 rates, and that's based off the assessment card you just got. okay?
Well, I understand that. I mean, that assessment card, that extra $100,000 that was, added to my house, which by the way, nobody showed up in my house either. It just added $100,000 to it. That's the number that's going to be.
We gotta keep it to that
I
one.
know what you're
I'm
gonna
sorry.
say, and the answer is yes. I know what you're saying.
Please come back to.
That's the number that's gonna be used against the various rates.
Whatever the new rate.
Yes, that's correct.
So my taxes aren't going down, so.
Only if it goes down. Which
Hi, I'm new to town. My husband and I just moved here.
I'm sorry, can you just state your name?
Oh, my name's Mary. I'm in Solitude. Our assessment also went up $100,000. I know you said that it's separate, but my question is, so what do we do? Who do we reach out to? How do we, there's gotta be some kind of remedy, because, sorry, I don't like public speaking. Our taxes, if the tax rate stays the same, will go from 8,000 to 12,000. It's not right to do that to people. We can't afford it. So my question is, what do we do?
First and foremost, I would recommend you reach out to the county, okay? I'm happy to meet with you after the meeting and give you my own phone number so we can try to help walk you through the steps. Don't lose hope is my biggest piece of advice.
Try. I liked it here, but this is nuts.
Chris writes, Tony Memorial. For any residents concerned about your assessment, there is an appeal process. It's not as hard as it looks. I'm going to be appealing. It's a bit difficult, but there is, some residents are getting together, I think like next week, to discuss how this can be done. If you have any friends that are realtors and have like MLS access to maybe pictures of houses of maybe comps around you that have sold, look at the insides of those houses that are brand new and gutted, compared to your house. So if it's in disrepair, like obviously, that would definitely help towards your assessment. So that's all.
That might
Thanks.
not work.
It might not work.
No, you know why? Because everybody's so high anyway.
You know
Where are
what?
you gonna find one?
Don't you wanna talk for a minute, is it?
It's
Okay,
probably
a
not.
minute. You got 1 minute.
Oh, only 1 minute?
Yes.
Isabel Bazile.
Talk fast.
Taylor Street. All right, what I think is happening here, and I could be wrong, is all these rates that went up, it's making people that can't afford it anymore move out of here. And then you're gonna bring in new people that can afford these taxes at a higher rate. So we're looking like, I'm here 30 years, I can't afford what just happened to me. I'm double than what I've paid in, my mansion. So I just think something's gotta get done. We gotta get the rates down, and I know you're saying that it's almost impossible, unless.
Not impossible, I never
All
said
right.
that. Nothing's impossible.
Okay, well, I just feel like everyone's trying to get everyone to move out.
Jimmy
Could be
Search,
wrong.
19 Krieger. Councilman Graham, you said you had the mayor's wife on the phone.
The governor.
Whatever. Simple questions like why are failing Newark schools that have been failing for tens of years, why are they getting $5 million more while our school district gets cut $600,000 over the last 2 years?
You have to go to the school with these.
I understand that.
I
I
agree.
understand that, but we have to have somebody working for us. I'm a
I agree.
third generation farmer. When there's not answers to things, you pick up, you start moving, and you figure it out. You don't say it's not my responsibility. You don't misremember words. You don't tell people their feelings don't matter. You don't laugh in their face. You figure it out as a community. That's not what I'm getting from these two council meetings. Just a lot of frustration on my end. But again, I get a vote. Mr. Graham, seat's pretty warm.
Thank you.
It's orange.
Hi, Lauren Hamlin, 26 Highland Avenue. I am not a tax assessor, I'm a realtor, but I did want to give a little insight to some research that I've been doing that I think might help everyone. Individual assessments are going to be really tough because, to be honest with you, your property values are high. And a lot of you, even though they've gone up significantly, if you appeal them, the comps are probably going to be even higher. So it's not about the values and it's not about the improvements. The issue that I found is called this coefficients of deviation number. This is a figure that figures out the inequality of the tax assessments across a municipality. When we started this past 5-year reassessment in 2020, our number was 6.2. Now it's 17.8. Anything above 15 is determined to have cause for a reassessment of the town. So therefore, we've caused more issue for ourselves the last 5 years. I do blame our tax assessor, plain and simple, I really do. But I do think we need to start looking at that, and I think when we hire a new assessor, we need to do a full town reassessment, which the county approved. And I think the meeting, thank you.
Any other questions? Comments?
Hi, Jeff Shepard, 14 Morton Way. It seems like the C word that should not be uttered is consolidation. And I think that that's something that we really need to think seriously about. I mean, I'm a simple, rational, logical guy. And to me, tax rate is equal to the budget divided by the number of residents. And there's not going to be a huge influx of residents. There's not going to be some company coming in parachuting to bail us out. You know, when I look at Clinton, they have shopping centers, they have all sorts of businesses. When I look at Annandale, they have McDonald's, things like that. We don't have that sort of stuff, and we're not going to have that in 5 or 10 years. Not that much that's going to lower us. And I think we really have to look at, if you've got 3 towns and you've got 3 police chiefs and 25 police cars and all of this sort of stuff. I mean, any company that looks at that sort of thing, they merge and they consolidate. And I know that that makes us a littler fish in a bigger pond, and that's kind of distasteful to people. But I think we have to either look at that or we're just going to be where we are. Thank you.
Hatfield, Woodland Terrace. I just need to understand the process when we actually hire a new assessor. What does Highbridge do from that point? What are our, you know, there's roles and responsibilities obviously by the county for that person. But what's our involvement? How do you hire someone and then have no input to the performance or anything? So can you shed some light on that?
The county oversees the actual performance of the assessments.
It's kind of,
And the town council would determine the compensation or office hours with some limitations. So there's some as far as they work here, but the county is the one who's actually going to be in charge of their actual job of doing the assessment.
So when she's hired or he's hired, we have no.
Yeah, that's the way it's set up by statute.
Okay.
And I think that it's to protect the tax assessor from political involvement at the local level. I think
Right.
that's why it was set up this way. It seems like a very strange system. The borough hires the person, pays the person, but then can't do anything about the person in terms of their performance. That's got to be from the county level. But I think it's to prevent, you know, the local government from interfering with the tax assessor's responsibilities. That's why it's set up that way.
Chris Carey, 12 Manning Court. I just had a few things that came up as while we're listening. One of the things you kind of addressed, my father-in-law is also a real estate agent, has been doing a lot of research on behalf of my wife and I. In 5 years, we've been increased, other houses have been increased, and there's some that have stayed stable on our same block. My neighbor directly next to me, a very similar house, similar property, has taxes of $4,000 less than us. So the equity is something's not right, and I think that number is very glaring. I also am questioning the transparency. There was one person up here tonight that I felt gave actionable things that are being worked on and done to support all of us and to kind of work through this. Everybody else is kind of giving the runaround like, oh, well, we're working on it, we're doing this. Actionable items are really important for us to hear so that we can say, okay, wow, they're doing this. They're doing that. I'm wondering what's going in at 100 West Main Street, that new building that's going to be going up. Like, is that going to be something we can all capitalize on? What is that going to be? And I think people have mentioned it. You're all our team to go to bat for us. We don't have the voices that you do up here, and we need you. That is simple as that.
Anybody else?
Sorry. Just final. Sally from Solitude, just a little bit of good news. Spring is on the way, light's coming, daylight savings time is coming, and then spring hits in 26 days.
Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, with that, let's move, motion to move into executive session. Resolution, I'm sorry.
Sorry, sir, do you have public comment?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
I thought you were.
These
Hi.
glasses cut me off.
That's okay. Chris Polacco, 12 High Court in Solitude Village. I am a 25-year resident, and looking back over the taxes over the 25 years, they have steadily increased about 10% beyond the rate of inflation. This new assessment represents a sudden 50% increase if the multiplication stays the same. Am I to understand that the multiplication might go down based on the increase in assessments?
Potentially. We're introducing our budget in April.
Okay.
Based off of preliminary conversations only, because I don't want to make any promises I can't keep. I definitely believe strongly that the rate will be going down this year.
That's only 25% of your taxes.
Well, last year, due to our increase in assessments and various other things, our own rate went down 11 cents and the school rate went down 18 cents. So that's 30 cents reduction in our rate last year. Again, nobody wants to hear that. We want to hear what's going to cost our, out of our pocketbook. We're doing the best we can. Please come back in April and let's talk about it, because we sincerely are hoping for even, we're actually not the highest in Hunterdon County for the first time. We are third. Milford is number one. So we are just still.
Throw a trophy in there for that.
Well, no, I'm just saying, we're moving in the right direction and we're doing the best we can.
Okay, thank you.
What's that?
I'm taking that as a win.
Well, I mean, it's something.
We're Fallow from 58 Church Street. I got two things, 2.5% or merge. That's it, consolidate. I mean, that's where I'm at. This is a good book. Princeton, man.
I'm Matt Shilahita, 21 Deer Run Drive. I just had a question related to the total aggregate property value after the reassessments were done. I think last year was 383 million, an increase of about 39 million. Do you guys have that current number to display today?
Not to display today, but it will be during the budget, April.
But that's a different number than the budget itself, is that correct?
That's the assessed value.
Assessed value,
Yeah.
so the assessments are done.
The assessments are done for 2024.
So we should have the total value of all the properties.
Yeah, sorry.
We should have the total value of all the properties.
We do.
And so would you be able to release that today? That's not part of the budget of spending.
Don't have it memorized, but it's over $400 million.
Okay, so that's really not a representation of what we're seeing. If a lot of people have increases of $100,000, last year went up 39 million. You're saying the whole town was assessed this year, reassessed?
Yes.
So it should be a lot higher than 400,000. So I just wanted to get clarification.
400 million.
400 million.
million.
It was 383 million last
So
year.
again, I don't have the number memorized in my head, but we have reviewed it. It's higher, and that's, again, why I feel comfortable saying that most likely that rate's going down. We're not introducing a lot of new spending. We don't have a budget that's higher than last year's, so.
And just real quick, in my understanding,
Yeah,
that
sorry,
aggregate.
we're over that one. You may have to go offline to ask the next question, because
It
the
was
minute's
more of a
up,
statement. She was
unfortunately.
talking, so I didn't have my minute.
I know, but that's the way the system works.
Sit down
When
and
you ask
stand back
questions.
Anybody else?
Sit down and go back up.
That's it?
No. We're in the comment section, yeah.
You didn't have a full minute, it's not fair.
Sorry, the timer timed it. I'm sorry.
She was speaking, he wasn't, so there's
I understand. Okay.
She should wait to respond until his time is up. That's only fair.
Please ask your question. I'd love to answer it.
Thank you.
I was just trying to understand a little bit more that essentially the aggregate property value times the current tax rate is the total tax levy. Is that correct?
This is a bigger question than this conversation right now. I don't have the assessed value that you're looking at. We haven't finalized the budget. It's a pretty broad question where it's not that simple. So if you can come back to April, if you'd like to talk to me after the meeting, I'm happy to discuss. I can give you my card. Happy to have with anybody in the room, happy to talk to best of my knowledge, I'm not a municipal certified financial officer. Not a tax assessor, I'm not a real estate agent, I'm, a volunteer. So, but
I'd
again,
love to
please
talk
come back.
offline. Essentially, some documents that were released shows year over year that the total aggregate property value times the tax rate is the total tax levy. That levy is broken down into, as we said today, municipality, different schools, open county area. So I just wanted to get that number to kind of get an approximate of what the total assessment value was.
Don't have it. Thank you.
Understood?
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so let's move on. We have resolution, I don't have the number, move into executive session. Can I get a motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Doyle? Yes. Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
And action may be taken.
Action may not be taken. Or may not be taken.
May or may not be taken after executive session. May.
Okay, Mayor, we're back in open.
Okay, so can I get a motion to amend the agenda to add resolution 102?
Correct.
Move. Second.
Which would be to authorize the mayor to sign the contract for the redevelopment of, 100 West Main Street.
Move second.
Did you catch?
So, I'm sorry, I had Noel and Graham?
Yeah.
Okay. Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
A motion to approve resolution 102, authorizing the signature of the contract for the redevelopment of 100 West Main.
Very good. Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos?
Yes.
Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
Roll call.
Doyle? Yes. Barry?
Yes.
Graham?
Yes.
Matos? Silvestri?
Yes.
And Noel?
Yes.
All right, next council meeting, March 14th, 7:30. Good meeting, everybody. Thank you.
I know that